Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday video. We look backwards during the summer. And now, this is a subject that I have covered before, but I'm going to kind of take a different angle at looking at this topic. Um, so, while some things could be similar from last summer when I did this, the focus is going to be a little bit different. Um, what are you doing? My cat is being strange. What else is new? So, the 2021 to 2022 season was a pivotal year in Fed history once everything had finally gone back to normal after the pandemic. Um, it was do or die time. It really was for the FPHL. There were a couple times when the league has faced this do or die situation. The first being in, I think it was 2013, 2014. The team had whittled down to four teams. The league, excuse me, had whittled down to four teams, and it was like, are we going to be able to continue going? Are we going to thrive? Yeah, they contracted as far as it possibly could and still stay a viable entity. Survive that, continued to grow and expand to the point where, for the league's 10th season, 2019 to 2020, they'd gotten to 10 teams. Of course, at that time, nobody had any idea that COVID was coming. So, two of the franchises were rather rushed in their getting set up and ready to go. The one was Delaware Thunder, the other was the Battle Creek Rumblebees. Battle Creek Rumblebees were announced extremely late. They only had 3 months to get everything ready to try and get marketing going. It wasn't enough time. Um, the team, obviously, no bueno. But 10 teams had made it. And now, if you'd like a little bit more context on this season, you can go back to September 14th of this past year. I did a video called What If 2019 to 2020, the season didn't get shut down. Um, and we did a lot of supposition as far as taking a guess who probably would have won the championship that year. Because, of course, it was March 12th. It was late in the year, March 12th, that everything got shut down. There was about a little less than a month left in the regular season. All right, so 10 teams, 3 didn't make it. COVID effectively killed Battle Creek right away. They said, we're done. It was not even a month after the everything shut down that they said, yeah, we're done. The Mentor Icebreakers, they announced in November of 2020, we're not coming back. We can't survive this. They were hanging on by a thread as it was. All right. And of course, the other team, the Dashers, that was not so much the team as the arena, getting lured by the false premises of the VC Bobcats. But we're down to 7 teams now. And the following season, of course, teams still weren't able to play in front of crowds. There were travel restrictions. So Danbury, Watertown, and what was the other team? Yeah, I wrote it down. Anyway, Danbury, Watertown, and Delaware did not participate in the 4-team challenge series that happened, called the Ignite Cup. So there was a lot going on. No fans were allowed in any games during the 2020 to 2021 season, except for the final game, 1,500 fans were able to watch Columbus win the Ignite Cup. So now we get back to 2021, 2022. All the restrictions are lifted. Delaware is back. The hat tricks are back. Elmira thinks they're back, but then it turns out that the arena owners in Elmira said, we don't like this situation. There's a lot of charges that are thrown out against owner Nichols, who, of course, now is coach of Topeka. You'll have to excuse me, I haven't had my coffee yet. Kind of off to a late start, so I was kind of like, I gotta get this video done. But anyway, Elmira is out. So, and this happened very late. So, fortunately for the Fed, Binghamton had just lost their team, the Binghamton Devils, the AHL affiliate of the New Jersey Devils. New Jersey reneged on their contract with Binghamton, cut it off a year early, said we're out, we're moving to Utica. That left Binghamton open, and Binghamton had always been the place that the league wanted to have a team in. Tried it in the first season in a substandard arena. Not much marketing happened, and obviously the BC Barons failed. But this time, things look good. We had good ownership with Johansson. So even though it's late, it's in May. Binghamton ends up getting the start, getting the okay to participate. So 7 teams. We had these 6 teams plus Delaware. All right, I don't have a magnet for Delaware. So, all right, so we get to things, and this was kind of going to be the test to see if the league was going to survive. Would the fans come back? So, I'm going to do a comparison here. We're going to take just with these teams, we're going to talk about how they drew in the 2019 to 2020 season compared to 21-22. All right, so as you see, some teams lost a little bit. Columbus was the biggest loser as far as fans, but it's important to remember that the full season in 2019 and 2020 hadn't been played out. So, the difference could have been bigger, but the important part was, as we saw, the fans did come back. Now, in 2019 to 2020, the league overall drew 357,205 fans. And of course, things were cut off 4 weeks early. These 6 teams, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Delaware, 6, drew 312,412. Now remember that number, 312, 412. Okay, so the season gets underway. The play is very good. The quality of play had stepped up in this time. There were a lot of people that were caught by the pandemic not being able to progress a career, and all of a sudden now they're a year later, a year and a half later, and ready and eager to play, and they jump into the professional ranks. Plus we had some really good veterans from the Fed that really led the charge. So the quality of play there was a big difference between the 21-22 season and previous years. All right. Now what I'm going to do is, what I did here for these numbers, I wrote down Elmira, because Elmira and Binghamton were roughly the same size market, drew the same amount of fans, pretty close. So that's Elmira's numbers here, Binghamton's number here. All right, but to give you an idea of how the fans came back. All right, Elmira, drew 76,919. Binghamton drew 90,187. Difference of roughly 13,000. Columbus, they fell off a little bit, lost 3,800 fans. They didn't really lose them because if you look back at records and Fed history, you see each year more came back to Columbus. Carolina, they dropped off just a slight bit. It was just about 2,000. The Danbury Hat Tricks, they saw the biggest growth. Now, the first season was, the COVID season was Danbury's first. And due to some messy behind-the-scenes stuff, a lot of Danbury fans had grown very weary of and cautious in regards to, well, do we invest ourselves in this product? We've seen things fall apart in the Fed before. So only 30,000 came that first year, but that improved to 40,000 for the 21-22 seasons. The fans were excited to see the product back and they wanted to support it. Port Huron saw the biggest jump. They went from 19,693 to just over 40,000. That's a gain of 20,000. They doubled their attendance this year. Yep, and this was fantastic because Port Huron's team on ice was not that great this year. They finished in a distant 6th in the league, but the fans loved it. They loved it that the Prowlers were back, and they said, hey, we got your backs. So they came out in droves. Watertown, they fell off just a little bit, just about 1,000, 1,400 less. And Delaware also had a big jump. They went from 9,974 their debut year to this year 17,550, jammed into that tiny little arena down in Harrington, Delaware, that only sat like 700 people. So a gain of 7,000. So overall, if you do a comparison this season and this season with just the 7 teams, a gain of 43,000. Now, overall, because you also had, during the COVID year, you had 3 teams that didn't make it, they had their attendance factor in. So the final number, and we mentioned during the COVID year, 357,205. This year, 356,564. Only 641 fans less than this season, but there were 3 teams less. So that really signified that the team, the league was good to go. The fans were going to support the product, and immediately expansion jumped back into full gear. The following season, we had 3 more teams. We had Motor City, we had Mississippi, and we also had the Elmira Mammoth. New ownership, unfortunately, same story, but we're 14 teams now. So one of the things that I did enjoy with going back and revisiting this was watching the final game, the championship game from this year between the Watertown Wolves and the Columbus River Dragons. Now, they went through a playoff series, a number of playoff series to get here. Danbury initially chose Binghamton as their opponent. The league gave the third place team the ability to choose their opponent, and for obvious travel reasons, Danbury chose Binghamton. Beat them 2-1. Carolina beats Port Huron 2-0. We had Columbus in the second round defeat Danbury very handily, and then Watertown takes care of Carolina. So we get to the final series. It was a best of 3 due to Columbus's difficulties with their arena as far as the ice getting pulled out early. April 29th, they played game 1. Columbus won that game. And then it was 3-2 in favor of Columbus. They returned back to Watertown. Watertown's got their backs against the wall. They respond very well, win the second game 4-1. In the final game, let's take a look at that. Because it was really, really something. 2 overtimes, yep. 2 overtimes it took to decide our champion. And I'm just trying to find a place to put that. There we go. So Columbus, they had taken a 1-0 lead, but Watertown was able to take advantage of their home ice, smaller ice surface. I never really realized until I paid specific attention to this how small the neutral zone is in Watertown. It is small. But Watertown plays very well in their own barn. Anyway, so 90 minutes, 8 seconds, the longest game in the longest playoff game in Fed history. So, shots on goal I had marked there, 54-46. These are in parentheses because the league website ran out of room to differentiate between the overtime periods, and so they just combined overtime period 1 and overtime period 2 to the 15 to 11. All right, so the game starts off Ahmed Mahfouz, and this would be the final goal that Mahfouz would score in his career. Nobody knew it at the time, but it was kind of bittersweet. But nonetheless, Mahfouz gives the Watertown Wolves the early lead as he beats goaltender Bailey McBurney of Columbus. Goaltender for Watertown, by the way, was Adam Bukaboom, who ended up playing up in Roanoke in the SP for a couple years. All right. In the second period, Columbus responds. It's Jack Riley scoring, assists from Jake Grade and Joseph Smith. Jake Grade, Columbus fans, you'll notice he's back. I forgot to mention the assist on the Mahfouz goal. Yeah. 2 River Dragons, well, soon to be River Dragons, Chamac and Jemayev. McDonald, of course, he had just a killer year. 60 goals, led the league, plus 87, still a Fed record during the year. So amazing performance. Okay, so Columbus had tied it up on that Jack Riley goal. And then we go on to later on in the second period. This was where most of the scoring took place. Jimmy Lodge. Yep, there's that name again. Played most of the year this last year with Athens and then a few games with Watertown. He was set up by Mahfouz on a power play. Jay Krupp was in the box on a 2-minute slashing call. And so now it's 2-1 Watertown, but Columbus comes back. Josh Pietrantonio, I miss that dude. I miss him playing. He scores, sets up by Austin Doe and Jake Grade again. So it's 2-2. We go to the third period. Neither goaltender will budge. It wasn't necessarily a passive play in that period. Shots are 14-11 in favor of Watertown in the third period as nobody could score. So on to overtime we go. And sudden death, the next goal wins a championship. 20 minutes, nobody can score. Both McBurney and Bukaboom are brick walls. So finally, 10:08 of the second overtime. And I loved the call. I loved watching this game again. I put it on YouTube and watched it. Hearing Jeff Barrett with the call. McKechnie goes streaking down the right wing boards, throws a centering pass towards the crease, and it looked initially like McKechnie had just put the puck in the net, but it was actually Lane King who tipped home the pass, and that was it. 3-2, Watertown Wolves win in one of the most fascinating games ever played in the FPHL. I loved Jeff Barrett's call. He's calling the pass, and then all of a sudden he just bursts out, and Cole McKechnie has done it again. And that was the game-winning call, which of course it was later on determined that King was actually the scorer on the play, and McKechnie had just had a brilliant pass over from the wing. So yeah, that was it. A crowd of 835, which everybody's going, well, that's not that much. I know Watertown's a small arena, but this was on a Monday. This was a Monday night game. The game started at 6:30, lasted till about 10:35. So over 4 hours of hockey that these fans were treated to. And so, yeah, 835 on a Monday night. Watertown will give you that. So there we go. Just wanted to kind of recap this game because it was such a fantastic game. It's just incredible. So anyway, the main focus of this video was to look at those attendance numbers and to kind of help the league springboard into the future with getting back to 10 teams the following year. And then, of course, now we're 14. So the league obviously not only survived COVID, but thrived afterwards. And that was really good to see. So again, no other season was quite as pivotal, quite as important as the 2021 to 22 season. So, all right, so we are counting down. We are under 90 days. We are less than 90 days. I lost my exact count. I'll have to go back and check that. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in and watching this. I hope you enjoyed our little game recap plus our summary of the year. Make sure to hit like and subscribe. Tell a friend. Let's keep those subscribers coming in. And also make sure you're following me on Facebook. That is where all the news gets posted. On Tuesday, we'll be back here on YouTube talking news and notes. But in the meantime, between now and Tuesday, keep a watch on the Facebook page. Anything that comes down the line, we'll let you know. All right, I am Gary Ryan for the Fed League Flash. Thank you again so much for joining me, and have yourselves a wonderful week ahead. Be safe out there. Be excellent to each other.